Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another reading. I hope you're all doing so well. So in today's video, we're going to be looking at your soul's lineage. And I wanted to open this up and kind of look in a really broad way, really with a theme on magic. So we're going to be looking at the ancient civilizations that you might be connected to. We're going to be looking at your cosmic roots, your starseed lineage. And we're also going to look at earth magic, magical beings that you are connected with. So it's going to be quite a holistic reading. And I really wanted to also bring through kind of different messages than what you might have gotten before. I wanted it to be quite a unique kind of original feeling to this reading. So stay open as to what spirit might want to illuminate for you today. So go ahead and pick intuitively which reading you feel most drawn to. You can also cross-watch for someone else. As I was channeling down the information for each group, I started to think of certain people like soulmates of mine that I'm like, oh yeah, this person's like this. So you might want to cross-watch for your children or your partner or something like this as well. And yeah, just enjoy, and I'll see you for your reading. Hello everyone, and welcome to your reading. So the 4 energies that I picked up for your group was Dragon, Salamander, Agarthan, the Inner Earth Civilization, and Egyptian past life. Okay, so here we go. So as I was doing each group, I realized that each one had kind of their own elemental energy. So you really are the element of fire. That's how your energy feels to me. That's how I feel you are really connected. So you've got Dragon and Salamander, which are both fire elementals, right? I don't know if you knew that, but they are. They're both very, very deeply connected to the fire. And I feel like you carry this fire, you carry this light in your soul, and you're really here to ignite energy in others, inspire people, and bring through sacred knowledge. You feel like an inspiration or an initiator, like you ignite energy in the collective, and you also burn through really dense energy very easily and effortlessly, and you stay light. You're really good at staying light. No matter what you've been through, you can stay with the light and you can stay light. And you kind of do this almost like defying all odds. So where are we going to begin? So I want to begin with Egypt, actually. So this is a very earthy kind of, they really were quite interdimensional, actually, in Egypt. As you know, they built the pyramids. They did a lot of things that almost like the technology has gone underground since then. So there's something here, you're connected to ancient technology, ancient civilization, but really I felt this priestess energy for you. So in your past life in Egypt, I feel you were a priest or a priestess, and you had some kind of governance over sacred ceremony and sacred ritual. And you had insight into secret knowledge or hidden knowledge, like occult knowledge in a way. And you understood the way that the rites of passage work to do with reincarnation, birth ceremony, death ceremony, and almost very connected to the ceremony, the life cycles and the ceremony. I keep seeing you holding ceremony and having codes within your soul of knowing how to hold ceremony, knowing how to understanding the birth and the death rituals and the rites of passage that they are, and also deeply understanding the reincarnation process. The ancient Egyptians were also very connected to the sun, the worship of the sun, and the sun again is fire, right? So there you are again being fiery. And even the Inner Earth civilization, Agartha, it is considered to be at Earth's core. And sort of scientifically, it is said that the center of Earth's core is actually made up of molten fire, right? Heat. So there's something about your energy that's very warm, it's very hot, it's very fiery. And you seem to work with this in all that you do. So yeah, you have some kind of understanding about sacred geometry, sacred building, because they built the pyramids, and also working with interdimensional beings. It's sort of colloquially known that Egyptians worked with, sort of, I don't know what you would call it. I want to say alien, but I know that's probably not the right, probably not the right terminology, but I can't think of it. Other starseed lineages. They worked with them potentially, or downloaded some technology from those higher realms and then used it in the earth. And like I said, there's something about that technology that's gone underground now, but it's you hold actually a deep remembrance of magic. And I feel like it really hurts your heart to exist in this earth in a way where the magic has been pushed underground, where the occult the occult knowledge and information has sort of been separated out from humanity. There's something very sort of unnatural about this. And I feel like you really help to actually bring light and like ignite and spark back a sparkle. Sparkle. It's like you, you bring a sparkle back into the earth and you spark and ignite people's like belief in magic and understanding that this earth is still actually really magical. So the Agarthan inner earth energy, right? Really interesting. And I wrote Secret Keeper. It felt like I didn't want to even write anything more about Agartha because it feels so secret. Like it was really interesting shooting with this energy because I felt almost like they wanted to be kept secret. Like they didn't want me to necessarily look and go in. And I felt to respect that. But you have incarnated in the inner earth before. Like you have some kind of energy very like deeply connected to your soul of actually being part of this inner earth civilization. And once again, the inner earth civilization of Agartha is so deeply tied to magic. It has never been cut off from magic in the way that us like earth dwellers on the land have been. So it might have even been a secret to you that you were part of this Agarthan civilization. I mean, you might have resonated with it, but there's something here about like things have gone underground. This is really deeply connected to your soul's mission, and your soul's wisdom is about bringing things that have been buried back up into the surface and bringing them back to the light and sort of like normalizing magic again in a way that it hasn't been. Like magic has really been separated from humanity in a way that's very unnatural and that causes a lot of suffering. But you have such deep ancient memories of not having that separation, of having that wholeness, and also knowing how to have deep respect and reverence for the divine and for the magical information. Like I feel like you have a lot of integrity in your soul and you know how to use it well. I'm even seeing like fire kinesis, like being able to bring fire out through your hands. You might also have healing hands is what I'm seeing as well. Actually, I've had this experience before where my hands have so much chi in them because I have healing hands. When they get so much chi in them that they start burning me. So I'm seeing that, Spirit showing me that, and I'm seeing fire erupting out of the palms of your hands and you being able to like bring kind of like a spiritual fire, not just an earth fire, but it has like different elements to it. It has different healing properties to it. I'm seeing different colors of this fire that you're able to create. And I feel you've done this in other lifetimes. You have this like ancient DNA within you. That you actually have, you have like soul memory of this. So this is why as well, I feel like you're really connected to the salamander and the dragon energy, because you are, and I feel like you probably know that you're connected to dragons, okay? Dragon was the first one that I wrote down. And I was thinking, you already know you're connected to dragons. That's how I feel you. You already know about it. You're like, yeah, I love dragons. I'm all for dragons. You might have dragon guides or dragons that come and visit you, that work with you through energy healing, through meditation, through prayer, through mantra, through chanting, through light language. You feel really connected to dragons. So the dragon energy is also very, very ancient. Like you have a very ancient energy that's coming through. So powerful ancient beings, guardians of magic, sacred knowledge, and portals, ley lines. That's the other thing. They're very much guardian energy. So I feel like there's something here about you have a protector energy. And I feel part of your role on earth at this time is actually to help protect humanity. It's to help protect humanity from the darkness by bringing the light in and by bringing the light of awareness back and waking people up to the fact that magic is real, bringing the light of awareness back into the humans and activating ancient DNA where we have these magical abilities deeply held within us, just like how you have fire come out your hands. Yeah. Just like how you have fire come out your hands. Like this is actually not so far away from the ancient sort of like, original human blueprint where humans do have magical abilities innately within them. So your soul holds fierce protection, sovereignty, and the ability to alchemize density into light through fire alchemy. That's right. But you're very protective. I feel this. And you maintain your sovereignty no matter what's going on. I feel like you're really good at freedom. You have a lot of freedom energy in you, and you're also able to maintain like a free mind. Whereas a lot of people get sucked into fields of disbelief where they don't believe in magic, or they get sucked into sort of mainstream mind control, like the matrix grid. You maintain your connection to like the ley lines of the earth and the true grid of the earth, not the matrix grid that's sort of this artificial light. You know what true light feels like, you know what it looks like. And I think you're probably also very discerning of people, places, and things. And you sort of know how to read energy in a correct way. So, but you have a protection energy, and you're also guardians of the magic. That's what it says. You're ancient. You're an ancient being. You're guardians of the magic. This is the energy you have in with you, which is why dragons favor you, or you might have even incarnated as a dragon before. but dragons incarnate for almost like infinity. So, but there are also like multiple timelines that happen, as in like our understanding of linear time on Earth is actually just a construct based on the dimension that we are currently in. And actually all things are happening simultaneously. So you might also be simultaneously a dragon, and the dragon that comes and visits you might actually also be you. Keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. So there's something really ancient about you, and you have this guardianship energy. Like you're a guardian of the light. You're a guardian of ancient knowledge. And it's also, I feel you have this really protective energy towards humanity, but you really want humanity to grow and wake up and ascend beyond the limitations that have been placed upon them through many, many, sort of hundreds, thousands of years. There's something about you really want to help wake humanity up. And you kind of do it with like a fierce energy. Like I feel you might be quite unapologetic, quite truth, like you're a truth teller, you're a truth speaker, and you hold the light of truth. You hold a light of truth. So the salamander is a fire elemental. It has a spirit of creativity, passion, transformation. So you have that energy in you, creativity, passion, and transformation. You activate others through your light and wisdom. You are inspirational. Also, the salamander energy, it helps burn away illusions, and you carry the truth. You carry the torch of truth, I wrote. You carry the torch of truth for others. Yes, I was seeing this eternal flame you have, and that's why maybe you do have a dragon energy where you actually are simultaneously a dragon in another dimension, because there's an eternity energy to your soul. And I feel like dragons live for eternity. That's just sort of the energy I'm getting as I tune in with them. There's an immortality aspect to dragon energy. Very different to the earth where it's at right now. So there's something about you holding an eternal flame, and this flame can never be put out within you, or like ever. Like it could not be put out. Like you might feel disconnected, say, from the fire in your hands and the alchemy that you have the ability to bring fire through you. You might not be able to do that right now, right? Because of the density of the earth. But it's like there is an eternal flame within you that cannot actually be put out, that is eternal. And it's very, very sacred and special. And this is what I mean. You really are an inspiration to others. You're here to empower others, to remind them that they are sovereign, and also to activate the fact that they are magical. Like you help people to remember that they are actually magical beings. I feel you have a lot of knowledge that when you speak to people about this, they get really inspired. They get really sort of tuned into the divine. And you help reconnect people to their own magical DNA, to their own magical sort of blueprint that exists within them deeply. So you have, because of this Agarthan influence in your energy field, you do have some kind of a secret keeper energy where you're good at keeping secrets. It's sort of this interesting energy. You know what needs to be kept secret. You're discerning. That's what it is. You know what needs to be kept secret, and you know what needs to be brought into the light. And this is sort of with the Egyptian energy. They had a lot of sort of occult information that wasn't necessarily like widely distributed, because it was sort of like you had to go through rites of almost like initiations to receive the information. And I mean, honestly, there was also a lot of dark energy with the Egyptian civilization, to be fair. And I don't feel that in you. I feel you're a very light being. But yeah, you have this discernment around what is meant to be shared with this person, what you are meant to sort of say. And Spirit's sort of saying to trust that more, because you're actually very intuitive. And even if people, I feel like you might share a lot and people are like, this is too much, or I don't understand, or it goes over their head. And this might be sort of a strange experience for you, because I think, again, you're used to living in civilizations like the Agarthan, the Egyptian, where it's like everyone kind of understood that magic was real. Everyone was experiencing it in like really deep ways. People were devoting their life to the initiations, the rites of passage. And then incarnating now into where Earth is at right now, it's like, well, what's going on? What's going on? And you try to bring back this ancient knowledge and speak the wisdom of the ancient ones. And people look at you with this sort of like fluoride stare, So Spirit's saying that even if you are met with this sort of resistance or a brick wall from humanity, these fields of disbelief, to keep going, to keep holding this eternal flame that really can never be extinguished within you, because it is actually alchemizing things in this planet, and it is also planting seeds of awakening in others. But people need almost like a lot. They need a lot, like not everyone. Some people are ready to activate really fast, but a lot of people aren't, and they need a lot of us to kind of raise this frequency and bring this into the light, so that the truth is once again seen as self-evident, so that the truth can be seen as self-evident, because you really hold this truth and you hold it as if it is self-evident. But then you are met in the world with a lot of people that are like, what are you talking about? This is not true, or they laugh at it or ridicule it or oppose you in some way. Okay, so I'm going to pull this card for you now. Let's see what you got. Joy. How lovely. So, joy. So I feel like the energy of fire is sort of like a joy, there's a joyful element to fire, sort of a playful energy, even a childlike wisdom to fire. Like it's playful. Like there's something playful about fire. Even though I wouldn't really call a dragon very playful, although they can be. They definitely can be, but it's not the first thing that comes to mind. It's more like powerful and sovereign and guardian, protector. But salamander, though, has more of a playful energy, I feel, as I tune in. I don't know salamanders that well, but it was cool that it came through. So joy. Yeah, there's something really like a star energy about you. Like you bring light. Like you really bring more light than you realize, Group 1. I think Spirit wants you to realize this because you bring more light than you realize. And I think it's again because you might be surrounded by a lot of fields of disbelief in your area or around you, where you might be one of the only ones holding on to this, like that's holding this awareness of this ancient knowledge, this ancient wisdom. But you also, like Spirit saying, you do make more of a difference than you realize. Like I see you as a star. Like I'm seeing the star card through this card for some reason, the joy card. I'm seeing the star card in the tarot, and the star card is really about inspiration and kind of like shining a light for the collective. And I feel you really have this humanitarian energy where you really want to uplift all beings. You want to uplift all. And you do shine this light. You are a star in your own right. And people really see you as this. Even if they don't fully get you, understand you, like please know that you are respected, and people do really appreciate the never-ending amount of enthusiasm and wisdom and energy that you bring to life. Like you are constantly there to bring light and love into the conversation, to remind people about spiritual truths, to download about wisdom and knowledge. And you just bring this really gorgeous energy wherever you go. Like you're really good at being a part of a whole, like working as a team. And I feel like as well, when you were running ceremony, when you were holding ceremony, you did so as a group. Like there was more than one person that would have different roles in that ceremony. And I see in this lifetime that you're in right now, you are meant to go back to those roots of holding ceremony in some way. I feel like this is really important for your soul's evolution, for you to feel kind of whole again. Is something about you running ceremony. It might be becoming a birth doula or a death doula, or I don't know, finding a way of holding ceremony as like a priest or a priestess kind of role, and really activating that past life where you really knew about these things and you knew how to hold that with integrity and with responsibility that it takes, and to hold the channel and the passageway for the spirits and this kind of thing. Like it's really, really powerful. So yeah, there's something about getting back in touch with this holding of the ceremony, and also realizing that you are a gift for humanity. Okay, you are a gift for humanity. You are on this earth at a specific time right now in Earth's history because of how strong you are, because of how powerful you are. You are a dragon. Like I really want to say that you actually are a dragon. Okay, what's your soul lineage? Dragon. Okay, You have a dragon energy, and you're also deeply connected to the earth. You're really deeply connected to the earth. But, however, I want to say, I see you more connected to ancient civilizations of the earth, ones that carried magic within them. And there are a lot. There's Avalon, Atlantis, Lemuria. There's like the Aztecs, the Sumerians. There's a lot, okay? There's like quite a few, and those are just the ones that are known of, but there's way more than that. There's a lot more going on than what we know about, that we have written and scripted in sort of the history books or whatever. There's more than that. So yeah, so there's something here about you really are connected to the earth, but more about you're more connected to the magical side of the earth, which is why sometimes it might feel a bit strange how disconnected people are from magic right now. But this is part of your mission. You are here to hold this eternal flame and help reignite people back into the truth of all things, the truth of all things. You hold the truth of all things within you, and within your voice, and within how you share from your heart, from your passion. You share with so much passion and so much certainty, so much confidence, because it comes from the deepest part within you and from the deepest truth that you can feel and hold. Okay, Group 1, that is your reading. Just a brief snapshot of your soul's lineage and the energy that you hold, the magic that you are possessing. I'm sending you so much love and light on your path. And if you would like to check out more of my work, please see the links in the description box below. I just did a light language channel that was about connecting with your ancient DNA, activating your ancient DNA. So I feel like that one might really serve you at this time. Much love. Hello, group 2. So you are an elf. Did you know that? That's how I'm feeling your energy. The first thing that came through was the elves. So you really are, I feel that you have incarnated as an elf, or you're like elf, or you're very, very deeply connected to that lineage. And I feel for you, so each group ended up having an element that came through. Like, I didn't plan it, but it just happened. So group 1 was fire, you are earth, and group 2 is air and water combined. So you are the earth energy, okay? This is an aspect of your soul spirit wants you to be aware of right now, because really we have all the elements within us, but you have this earth energy. Spirits really, like, all of these energies kind of really feel quite earthy. So elven, they are ancient beings of peace and integrity. Elves have so much integrity in the way that they show up in life, the way that they make choices. They have a lot of integrity. There's almost a seriousness to the elves. Whenever I've seen them come to me, they're kind of serious, like in a very ancient kind of way. Like, they're very old beings, like ancient beings, like very wise. They've seen so many different worlds and cycles of humanities and things like this. They have a seriousness, but it's from a real deep place of heart. Like, they're very heart-centered, they're very caring, they're very sort of generous, and they don't expect anything in return. Like, they'll help, but they don't expect anything in return. They really are very pure, like the most pure beings in a way, like not the most, but they're very, very pure beings of love and integrity. So they're very connected to the earth and all of nature. So all nature, and they're very connected to beauty and order, like divine order and natural order, natural law. That's why I'm saying like integrity, like the sort of the results of our choices. They're very responsible beings. They are very peaceful as well. Like, their energy, when you tune in, they're just like this big energy of peace. Like, it's just very peaceful and calming and grounding to be around them. So then the next one I got was, I'm just going to go through all of them and then we're going to go into it. So the next one I got was gnomes and dwarves. Okay. Super interesting. So these are the earth builders. So I was like, well, this makes so much sense. I really feel you have a building energy. Like, you are here to build. And then the Arcturian energy is architects of the light. So it's like you're an architect and a builder all at once. You carry both. Like, you know how to bring the codes in for the new earth, like the architect, you are the architect, but you also know how to build it and put those visions into action to really get down into the gritty sort of side of earth and like build what it is that you see and build the new earth and build a new life. So souls who work with stones, minerals, and crystals, they're very grounding energy. The gnomes and dwarfs, they're very grounding energy. They're very deep thinkers and deep feelers, and they're kind of slow. They're a little bit slower in the way they think and they feel, because it's very deep, kind of think underground energy, like buried deep within the earth where crystal caves exist, things like this. They have a natural ability to create, protect, and shape energy. I can't read my writing. Oh, in the physical realm. My writing got a little bit messy there. Okay, so they have a natural ability to create, protect, and shape energy in the physical realm. So this is the thing. They can create, protect, shape energy. It's like you have this ability deep within your soul. It's so clear when I look into your soul's energy. It's like, yeah, you're a creator and you build and you shape, and you also have the visions from the higher realms, that Arcturian influence as well, where you have those visions. So with the gnomes, it's really interesting because I feel kind of like a protective energy. They gnomes and dwarves, they kind of feel like protectors of the earth as well. There's sort of quite a protective energy here. And once again, I'm getting this energy about nobility and integrity and like knowing how to do the right thing. Working with crystals is interesting because, so there's also a lot I feel to do with gnomes and elves understand. They understand the more shadow sides of the earth because they're sort of more connected to the earth and even the underground and stuff. And I feel like crystals, the way that crystals are harvested currently in modern earth is actually very unethical. And there's a lot of mining practices that are done that are not sustainable, that use slave labor and things like this. So there's a lot of frequencies, like energies connected to crystals that is actually like, it's not good. And I had this awakening actually only last year where I was holding my crystals and they were showing me how they wanted to go home. They wanted to go home back to where they came from, which was within the earth, like amongst their beings, their people, so to speak, their other crystal consciousness. and the way that they were taken, like I tried to shop from an ethical crystal store, but they were still showing me that it wasn't right, because there are certain, like they were showing me there are certain ceremonies and rituals that are actually meant to be done when a crystal is, like if a crystal is to be harvested from the earth, it's meant to be done through certain rite of passage. Like you have to be almost, there's like a ceremony that has to be done. It has to be like really clear cut, like you really clearly need it for a specific reason, and that crystal also gives consent to come along to join in with that mission. So it's complicated, but basically, yeah, there's something here about the darker side of Earth. I feel like you understand the darker side of Earth, because that really came through when I was tuning in with the gnomes and the dwarfs. Is like they were showing me again how they're sort of guardians of the minerals and the stones and the rocks, and how the way that Earth is treating these things is really just for consumption and material gain, and it's not done in a ceremonial way that's very deeply connected to spirit and integrity and truth. So just keep that in mind. Yeah, keep it in mind. So there's something here about understanding the shadow side of the earth, and kind of being, I don't know, like you have some like deep wisdom about understanding truth and understanding shadow, and sort of understanding like the dark side of humanity, where humans are doing things, like I said, like harvesting from the earth without like just for profit, really. And then where, like, you know, so many humans, like we're just like participating in this blindly without kind of thinking about what we're doing, and really tuning in with what these sort of sovereign entities are wanting, and if they are desiring this or not, and if they would actually rather be left where they are. Because also I was being shown, sorry to go into this so much, but Spirit's like telling me to do it, so here we go. I was being shown as well how when we harvest all these crystals from the earth, it can actually disrupt the natural kind of like ecosystems of the inner earth, like of what's buried underneath. And that there are reasons that crystals are in certain areas of the world. And it's not that crystals are never meant to be used in magic or with, like, for humans, like with humans, because they are their own entities and they can also choose that path. But it's just the way that it's being done it's not sovereign. It's actually a form of enslaving these crystals in a certain way. Okay, so the way that it would be done in the new earth would be very different, and be just very, 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 very different. And a lot of it would more be like coming to crystal places for worship rather than bringing them away from where they naturally want to be. Yeah. So, okay. So Sumerian and Anunnaki, which is connected to Sumer. Let me see can't read my writing again. Okay. So I said connected to Sumer, where gods walked as humans and spiritual DNA was shaped, connected to creator of worlds, keys of divine sovereignty, remembering the divine human blueprint. Yeah, so the Anunnaki is like, I don't know that much about it, but from what I know, they are kind of seen as being part of the actual creation of the earth. And there are souls that are connected to creating worlds, and I feel like you actually have that energy in your soul. So you have been a part of creation of all things. I'm not saying you agree with the way that that the earth has turned out or these kinds of things, but you actually understand it at a really deep level. You understand like how we got here, and also how to get ourselves back to something that is divine, and like the purpose of all of this. Like there's actually something really deep. You understand it, and you also carry a lot of keys. You carry keys for the new earth, and you carry keys around ancient DNA and activating the divine human blueprint. Like you carry keys for this, and it's part of your role. So you really understand about, you know, where gods walked as humans and spiritual DNA was shaped. Like you have some kind of incarnation with this energy, or connecting to this energy of being part of the creation of worlds. I'm seeing not just Earth, but you've done this in other places of existence as well. You've been there right at the beginning when things were just getting started and being born. So then we have Arcturian. So you support the evolution of consciousness through love and intelligence. Yeah, Arcturian energy is very intelligent. It's very, very intelligent. It's amazing. I love Arcturian energy. So technologically advanced, also very original. Arcturians will never copy anything. They will always originate something themselves. They're very good at inventing things and kind of bringing through a higher form of what already exists, mainly through actually demolishing what was and rebuilding something that is pure and aligned. So Arcturians are also really high-level spiritual healers. They are architects of the light. So yeah, Arcturians are like inventors, architects. They are extremely intelligent beings, and I feel you have a really strong soul connection to Arcturus, to an Arcturian legacy. You might have incarnated as Arcturian. Yeah, I feel like you might already know about this one as well. I feel like you might have already sort of vibed with the elves, but you might not have realized how connected to elves you are. but also Arcturian. I feel like you might know about those two, and the other ones you're like, interesting, didn't realize. But yeah, that's what I kind of wanted for this reading was for ones that you would like be like, oh, I never thought of that. So I'm going to pull your card as we get into your channeled messages. The Goblin, the wounded human ego. Yes. See, that's exactly what I was feeling. I feel this is a really positive one. Don't be alarmed by the energy of this card, because I actually feel it really positively. So goblins are also guardians of crystals and things like this. And there's something here about you understanding about the Earth's minerals and like the way that the Earth's minerals are meant to be used. That's why I was going on and on about crystals and like the wounded human ego, exactly. The side of humanity that really needs healing. I feel like you understand about that. You're not afraid of looking at the darkness, whereas so many people are, and they can't actually integrate it into their spirituality. You are not like that. Like, you are really able to integrate the darkness into your spirituality and understanding like what's going on Earth, seeing through the illusions of things, and really helping almost to initiate, because goblins, they often have like a trickster energy. See how this goblin's like sticking out their tongue? There's like a trickster energy and almost like a challenging energy, like provocative is what I want to say. So you might naturally carry a provocative energy, or you don't mind being provocative, or you don't mind kind of speaking the truth when a lot of people are too afraid to do it. It's also almost like you initiate humans out of their wounded humanness, their wounded human egos, because goblins, like, they often challenge heroes on their quests. Like, if you think about classical stories, it's like there's a goblin or a troll or something like under the bridge. Like, it's like I'm seeing that kind of imagery where it's like they have to solve a riddle so they can pass. There's something about this where it's like you kind of carry this energy of like helping to initiate people into their missions and helping people realize how powerful they are and to step out of their woundedness and to heal. So you do have a really deep healing energy, like with the Arcturian energy that you have like a really deep understanding of how to heal humans, especially humans and like the wounded human ego side of life. Like, you know how to heal and bring wholeness back to people and bring people out of their egos, or just identify correctly where ego is distorting the light, like where, like, you're really good at seeing through illusions. That's what I'm getting from this card, is like you can see when someone isn't being honest with you. You can see the deception within society, the mind control, these kinds of things. And I think that you're really good at actually living outside of that. I feel like, and if you aren't already living kind of outside of the matrix more, like you're meant to really free yourself, especially being an Arcturian soul, having Arcturian lineage. You're really not going to go well in kind of conventional, like status quo, mundane kind of life, because Arcturian energy, it really likes to be free and it likes to be original and kind of inventive. So it's like you need to kind of invent your own role for the earth, and it might not currently exist. Okay. Oh, that came through. I really resonate with that now. I've just said it. I didn't realize I was going to say it before I said it, but now I did. I can totally see this for you. So you might have to create your own role in the earth. It might not already exist. You might not be able to fit into a box of like, I'm a teacher, I'm an engineer, I'm an architect. It's like you might actually have to invent your own thing and be your own kind of original blueprint. Because Arcturian energy, it likes to be very, very free, because then the mind is not limited. You know, our mind can become really limited from things like institutions and things like this. And I feel like you really live outside of that. You're like you're not about that so much. Kind of institutional learning and kind of being just like everyone else, the sort of the status quo, and just following along with everyone else. Even just like with the crystals thing, right? That came through really strongly in your reading, and I've never really spoken about it publicly before. And it, it's fine if you don't resonate. It's just what I personally really received really clearly. And it's sort of like, we can kind of think originally for ourselves, or we can kind of just look at what everyone else is doing, and everyone else is, buying tons of crystals, and it's totally fine. But it's like, is it fine? Should we think about it? Should we reflect in? Should we think for ourselves? Do you know what I mean? There's something here about thinking for yourself and sort of deciding for yourself what is right or what is true. So I just looked up the spiritual meaning of goblins. So goblins are earthy beings often tied to underground realms, caves, and mineral-rich places. So again, really similar to what I was picking up on there. They may represent the shadow side of materialism, greed, or mischief, but also transformation through confronting what's hidden. Exactly. I feel like you're really good at confronting what is hidden, and you're not afraid of doing that when so many people are afraid and it gives them the heebie-jeebies and it's too scary to look at. I feel like you have really deep knowledge about what is hidden to this earth and kind of why it's even hidden. And moreover, even like conspiratorial kind of energy I feel from you, which is like, yeah, you're really able to see the truth, even if, you can be ridiculed for it. So they're also keepers of hidden treasure. So again, this connection to crystals, but it's this connection to crystals more from like a guardianship way rather than like a utilizing it for humans kind of way. Again, I'm not saying that it's wrong to use it as humans. I'm just saying that the way that it's being done on Earth at this time is very, very shadow energy, and it's causing the crystal entities a lot of pain, actually. So yeah, so there's something about breaking illusions, getting grounded, creation, practical magic, working with shadow integration, mischievous, disruptive ways of catalyzing change. Yeah, so I feel like you do have kind of a mischievous energy, actually, because I feel like you're not afraid of confronting someone's wounded human ego. Like, you're not afraid of seeing that in people. Whereas I feel like a lot of people, they just want to put their heads in the sand and be like, no, nothing's going on here. Or, they don't want to look at kind of the truth that's right in front of them about a person or about a situation or about the way that certain things are happening on the earth. Whereas I feel like you have this real fearless way of looking at it, which comes from these earth kind of energies you're a part of, but also the Arcturian energy and also the elves, because the elves, like I said, they're all about integrity. They are all about integrity and doing what is right. And it's kind of serious. They kind of take things a bit seriously, but it's like they do it because of their deep reverence for the divine and their deep understanding that, like, of natural law, how we have to make choices that align us with truth and align us with, well, alignment, basically. So elves are really good at being in alignment. They're like almost always in alignment. And same with Arcturians. Like, there's a real energy with Arcturians of like just piercing through the illusion and not getting caught up in the ego. So I feel like you're really good at being really humble and like not being really caught up in the ego, which is why you're so good at seeing the ego in humanity and kind of recognizing it and being like, yep, I see that, I see that, I see that. So being an elf as well, you might be actually quite visually very beautiful as well. I feel that from you. Okay. Elves are very, very stunning, very like symmetrical kind of beauty. You don't have to be like, look like that, but I just feel you have an innate sort of natural beauty to you, and you do look the most beautiful when you are in your natural form. Like something very much about natural beauty coming through for you. Like there's this beauty that radiates through you, and it's from this earthy energy that you have. Yeah, I just feel like, I see you in your element, like, yeah, very, very beautiful. Group 2. Very beautiful. So the gnomes, the dwarves, and the goblins, really interesting. But they do have this fierceness to them. They have this fighting spirit, and they're really good at initiating people onto their path. So I feel like that's sort of a role that you play with being provocative or telling truth or piercing through people's illusions, showing people the darker side of Earth and how we have to look at this so that we can heal. We can't just put our heads in the sand and try to pretend like nothing's happening, because it hurts us and it hurts others that we're in relationship with, and it hurts the whole Earth as well to do that. So I think you're really good at seeing through the illusions, and you almost like have a very specific gift at doing this, because you see truth that's hidden in plain sight that most people cannot see. They just cannot see it. But you also have this building energy, this architect and builder energy. Even elves, I feel, really connected to the earth and like building things through the earth, growing things. I'm being shown gardens and growing and food. Very grounding energy. So yeah, the Sumerian Anunnaki energy, really interesting. Like, whoa, really interesting, because it's created to the creations. It's connected to the creation energy, the creation of worlds, the creation of this realm, and kind of like all of the energy that goes into like why we're having this experience. It's like you have codes to understand that. And you also help to activate spiritual DNA and the divine human blueprint. Wow. Super amazing. So the Arcturian energy, again, you might already have been aware of this. You have such classical Arcturian energy. You might also be a little bit more like hidden, because elves are quite secretive beings. They're not really interested in a lot of attention or clout. They're not doing anything for power or gain or anything like that. They're really just doing it because they want to be in integrity, and they want to stay in the light and in the peace of life. Like they want to stay in the light. So they do what needs to be done. And they take it quite seriously. But then the goblins, the dwarves, and the elves, they feel really like burrowing kind of creatures, like more like deep within the earth. And then Arcturians, classically, they really are more secretive. Like Arcturians don't necessarily want to be public figures as much. They're more a little bit like behind the scenes and low key. You might still be called to share your wisdom publicly. I'm not saying that you wouldn't be, but I still think you have more of an intuitive, introspective, maybe introverted kind of nature. where you're kind of quite happy with your own sort of inner world. And then you just share it for the benefit of others rather than kind of like needing the applause or whatever. Yeah, there's something really special about that. And then the Sumerian Anunnaki influence, really fascinating group too. The more I tune in with it, the more I'm like, whoa, like you were around at the creation of Earth. Like you might not have been in physical, I'm seeing. Some of you were, some of you weren't, as in physically incarnate on the Earth, but you were a part of the creation. It's like you sat on a council or something to do with the creation of the Earth, and you understood about like, well, like what this realm would kind of offer. Like you were there at the birth of all things. Whew. And you understand about why, like you understand why, even if you ask yourself why while you're in this current human existence, you're like, why would this be? Why? It's like actually on the deepest level, I feel like you're asking why because you actually know why at some level in your heart and your being, you actually know why. Yeah, you actually have the answers. You're really connected, I'm seeing, to the Akashic records and to the answers, to being able to channel the answers and understand the answers and understand like the massive, massive cycles of existence and how we go through these huge, huge phases of learning and of transformation and of growth. Okay, group 2, that's all we really have time for. But if you would like to check out more of my work, please see the links in the description box below. I just released an Awaken Your Ancient DNA, Activate Your Soul Gifts, Light Language Healing. That's really connected to this sort of energy that I'm channeling today. So I feel like you might really benefit from checking it out, especially with your connection to ancient DNA that you have and you hold. I also have an Activate Your DNA Light Language tape as well that might resonate for you. And yeah, good luck. Hello, group number 3. So you are water and air. So each group ended up being really clear to me. They had their own elements. Group 1 was fire, group 2 is earth, and you are water and air, both, which is very amazing. And I feel like it really does represent the sort of interchangeable energy that you hold. Like you're very flexible, I feel. You carry a lot of realms and worlds within you. So the ones that I got for you, Lemuria, so you're Lemurian. I feel like you probably already know that. And if you're like new to this, then I really would recommend you check out the Lemurian DNA activation I did. So it activates all of your ancient DNA and your soul lineage and your soul gifts. But the Lemurian energy really came through really strongly in that. The link will be in the description box below. Anyway, so you also got merfolk, mermaids, and I'm about to go for a swim in the ocean after channeling your reading, so it feels very synchronistic. Then you got sylphs, which are air spirits, and I'm going to go into that a little bit more. And then you also got Sirian as like your cosmic sort of star being energy. Really interesting. So sylphs are like a bit more new to me, but they feel really interesting. So they're kind of like messenger spirits. As I was tuning in, they kind of like bring messages and they're really fast. Air elementals are, of course, really fast. I feel like you're also kind of connected to the fairies as well, the fae. But the sylphs wanted to come through because they're a little bit lesser known. And they move through realms and they bring different messages. Like you're a messenger being yourself. I feel like you have a gift of divine communication and you bring a lot of messages and you have a lot of divine downloads, a lot of inspiration, very connected to imagination and also intuition as well. So you might have like a lot of visions and downloads that just come to you like out of thin air. You're like, whoa, where did this come from? But you just all of a sudden it materializes. So with the sylph energy, I wrote air spirits, light and free, full of inspiration and energy. Yeah, very energetic when I tune in, like so much buzzing and movement and kind of like endless energy. They bring clarity, the birth of ideas, inspiration, and divine downloads. I want to also say inventions as well. There's like an originality to the ideas. Yeah, really, really powerful. Then your merfolk connection, you might also already be aware of, but you really are connected to the mermaids, the merfolk. So they are oceanic beings, very magical beings, and they also, as I was tuning in, very connected to sound, very connected to song and sound healing. So I feel like you have a sound healing energy in you. You might also have a beautiful voice. I feel like there's something about your voice that's very healing for the world. You might channel light language or sound healing in some form, or just be a singer in some way. You also have a strong relationship with water, the rhythms of life, the moon, the cycles of things, your intuition, beauty. You're a strong feeler, and you are connected to the oceans and the ocean beings. I feel like you're also a protector and a guardian of the oceans and the beings that live there as well. With your Syrian connection as well, Syrian is connected to dolphins. So once again, that sort of hint towards the oceans for you, because dolphins are, of course, live in the ocean. So dolphins as well are very playful. And I do feel this for your group. There's a very youthful energy, a very playful energy that I feel like you maintain throughout all of your incarnations, is this playfulness, this youthfulness, and this ability to kind of be light and free, even though you also have a very deep depth of your emotional feelings. Like you're very deeply feeling, you deeply feel things. And you're also an emotional alchemist, I feel, as well. So with the Syrian energy, they are keepers of ancient wisdom, temples, dolphins, sacred geometry, advanced spiritual knowledge, heart-based. They are living in harmony. They are all about harmony energy. They anchor divine knowledge and they build upon existing foundations. So that's something that really feels true, is that I feel part of your mission is to build upon something that has already started to take place. To contrast this, for example, Arcturians are really about originality and bringing something into form that has never existed before, kind of inventing things. I feel like your inventions, the way that spirit works with you, is a little bit more about building upon foundations that already exist and improving existing structures and kind of working within the framework of like what is available to us now, instead of kind of waiting for the world to be perfect or waiting for things to kind of all be in alignment. You're kind of like, let's just get started where we are, like start where we are kind of energy. Is very Syrian kind of influence. So let's see what your card says. You got beauty, the butterfly. So butterfly is also a symbol of transformation, of course, because we go from the caterpillar, the chrysalis, then to the butterfly. So I feel like you embody the butterfly energy, and this has been through many cycles of transformation. Like I feel like you've kind of I heard you've earned your spots, okay? I don't know where that comes from. That's just what I heard. There's something about you've earned this incarnation, you've earned this knowledge that you hold, you've earned like being a keeper of this knowledge. And I see as well, you're very protective of the ocean and the ocean beings, as you're meant to be. Yeah, very connected to the fairies as well, the fae with this butterfly energy, the wings, right? The sylphs energy, like the flying energy, very, very connected to you. But there's something as well about you know how to transform, like you bring codes for transformation for the earth. And it's sort of like you intuitively know how to move from one form to another through distinct phases. Like you understand about cycles, you understand about rhythms, you understand about the rhythm and like when is the right timing to take action. And you're very intuitive in this way. You're very intuitive in terms of like maybe not taking action too early or too late. You kind of know exactly when to begin something. There's almost something effortless about your energy, and people might see this in you and kind of, you might evoke some jealousy or people not understanding, like thinking that you're really lucky or things come to you really easily. But it's also because you just understand the cycles of life and like when is the right time to take action, when is the right time to rest. And you kind of know it intuitively, even when from the outside it might look counterintuitive. It's like you know deep down, and I feel like you have enough wisdom to trust yourself on that. You also carry a lot of beauty in your energy. I feel like people find you really beautiful, and they find you someone hard to pin down, just like a butterfly. It's like you're always flying away. You're always doing your own thing. And I feel like sometimes people have this energy where they might want to possess you. They might want to keep you for themselves, like because you're a beautiful butterfly, and they want to pin you up on their wall so they can look at you forever. And I feel like this is something to do with the mermaid experience you've had, like when you were a mermaid, maybe you had, something about earth dwellers like falling in love with you. I know this is a classic siren tale, but I'm seeing it from a different angle now. There's some kind of beauty, like mythical beauty that you carry, like you have an out of this world beauty to you. Yeah, because you got beauty. I didn't even realize that for a second there. You got literally the beauty card. So it's like, you've had this in multiple of your incarnations. It's sort of like a soul energy that you carry, is this beauty, this divine beauty. And I feel that you've even had, like, you know, the classic tale, like I'm being shown this, the classic tale of like fishermen falling in love with the mermaid and kind of like going deep under the sea. But I'm seeing the opposite, where it's like the fishermen trying to pull the mermaid out from the sea and like bring them onto the dry land, even if it would kill them, because they want them to be with them forever, because they feel that energy and how special and sacred it is. So you have an energy that is really coveted. Like people really want to come after you for your energy. And I feel like you're learning how to utilize that to your advantage without feeling suffocated by it, because I think people can really latch onto you and like want you and just be like, yes, I want you, I want to be around you, I want to know what you have to say, and it's because you have this freedom energy where you're constantly flying away and doing your own thing. And also it's this combination and contrast that you have between water and air that I feel like people find irresistible. You're kind of not too much of one thing, and you're the only group that had two elements associated with you. So it's like you have this real diversity energy. It's like, yeah, it is really compelling and magnetic. I can feel it. I'm seeing as well now you're like a mermaid and you're singing underwater, and I'm being shown like how the song underwater is so transformative, like how special it is and how it carries through. And I'm seeing you singing to different beings, like different animals that live in the oceans, like the dolphins, connecting with the dolphins through your song, connecting in through this song. Like I'm seeing you singing a prayer for the animals, like singing a prayer for the whales, and them like singing to you back. Oh my gosh. Wow, it's really, really sacred energy there. Your connection to the ocean. And then I feel like as well, you actually were, for some reason, I'm getting chronological order now of your incarnations a little bit. So I'm seeing you were the mermaid first, and then you were in Lemuria, and then you were the sylph and Syrian. I'm not sure where that fits in because like everything's kind of all happening at once, and Syrian was off this planet technically because it's in another star, another sun. Not another sun, it's in the Milky Way, but it's on another planet basically. Another star system. So, but with your incarnations on Earth, I see you mermaid, then Lemuria, then sylph. And I feel like your mermaid energy, you carried like really strong energies of some kind of sound healing. And you really tried as well. I think you were meant to bring some kind of unity consciousness to the Earth at that time before you were trying to bring unity and bring like bridge between the ocean dwelling beings and the land dwelling beings. And that's why I see you going up to sing to the people that would like be in boats, which would often be men. The people who would be in boats, you wanted to sing to them because you wanted to bring codes and awaken in them about how we could all live together as one, and we are all one in unity and in love. And wow, this is really emotional, but yeah, you would do this, and sometimes it would really work, and you would feel like almost like you could sort of influence their energy, like a really deep energy healing. But other times there would be like this, like I said, a possessiveness that would take over these people, and they would want to bring you back. They would want to try to capture you. So you had a few scary in experiences there of like people really, like I said, wanting to capture your energy and keep it for themselves. But then when you're in Lemuria, I'm seeing that you really were really, really a divine. I feel like you're really embodying a divine feminine archetype in that lifetime. Doesn't matter what you are right now, but I'm feeling like you really were in that divine feminine energy in Lemuria, and you really were really experiencing the unity. Like you were really living life in the unity consciousness. Lemuria does have a unity consciousness. They really were living in harmony, very beautiful energy. But I'm just seeing you really enjoyed that lifetime. Like it's one of the lifetimes I feel like your heart yearns for, and there's almost like a song in your heart that's like carrying the grief of, wow, like I feel like you would be a really powerful sound healer, group 3. Like you could sing songs from these ancient lifetimes, like from your mermaid lifetime. You could sing songs in that language. You could sing songs from Lemuria and bring through the energy of that lifetime where you carried the unity. And it's almost like the contrast between where you are right now. You would be able to bring through the energy of grief in a way for where humanity has become separated from unity, and we've forgotten that we are like together and one in this, and there's been so much violence and chaos and all these things sort of taken over. Like you really, Lemurian energy, it really feels very utopian. It did have its own issues in a certain way. It was out of balance. When I've tuned into it before, I've seen that it was a little bit out of balance in certain ways, which is why I guess it didn't continue forever. And we can learn from that as an earth, but I'm not going to go into that now. But I feel you carry some kind of grief. And this is what I mean about the water energy. It's like, yeah, there's something watery about it, because grief to me is very watery. And I feel like you carry some kind of healing energy to do with grief. Like you're really good at healing grief. And you would be really great as a sound healer. Did I mention that already? Sound healer, light language channel, singer of some kind. And because within your voice, like you've already done this in other lifetimes, and you're probably remembering it. It doesn't matter if you can't sing right now in this life, because it's in your soul. And we can also activate our DNA as we ascend to unlock a lot of gifts that we did not believe were possible for us. So just keep that in mind and never think anything's impossible, okay? But yeah, I just see you singing songs of grief, like maybe holding healings to help people with grief, and so that they can grieve it out, so that they can come back into the light, so they can come back into wholeness, and they can come back into unity. Because it's almost like humanity's heart has closed down from unity consciousness. It's almost like humanity's heart has closed down a bit from unity consciousness, because there's been the contrast of having experiencing it and then having not. And like where Earth is at right now, it's like, yeah, it's pretty grim. And so especially when you contrast it with how things were in Lemuria and like how beautiful the land was, it was so pristine. There was such an innocence to the way that humanity structured itself. There was such an honoring of the land, of the crystals, of the waters, of the spirits. There's just, it was beautiful, beautiful, like so utopian energy. So I feel like you would really help humanity with grief and with opening their hearts back up, because you've lived a lot of lifetimes in heart energy, the Syrian energy, the Lemurian energy, the mermaid energy was all very, very heart-based. And the sylph energy, again, is a little bit different. And I feel like you had to tap out from the earth for a bit after Lemuria, because things started to go downhill a bit, or there was like something about the contrast where you were like, this is too much. And you incarnated back into magical realms. You're very familiar with magical realms. I think you're almost more familiar with the magical realms than you are actually with the denser earth realms. There's something like about your energy that's like really, really familiar with like the pharaohs, the fae, the magical elements, magical elementals, especially of air and water. And you also are very, very, very connected to the ocean and of being a guardian of the ocean. Like, I feel like you've really connected to whales and dolphins and fish and wanting to protect them and keep them safe from the ways that things are being done at this time. You know, like really unethical fishing practices and, you know, pollutions and things like this. Like, I feel like that, again, like would be a song in your heart. Like you would have a song in your heart for that, for the ocean, to help the ocean heal and to help the ocean remember that we can live as one. We can be harmonious. We can be harmonious with humans and with the ocean. We don't have to be almost like at war with each other, because I feel the spirits in the ocean are very upset at humans as I'm tuning in. Whoa, this is really intense. Yeah, there's like there's an upset energy from them, like a very wounded, like I'm hurt by you humans. How could you do this to us? Yeah, it's very, whoa. Oof. Whoa. So yeah, there's something, well, and like the feelings that I'm getting in my body, like it's so intense. Like you have such clear feeling energy. You're really good at feeling things and feeling through. And that's why I'm saying you can feel things and heal them. And for some reason, I keep saying sound. Like you should really channel through sound, or even just through information if you resonate more with that, because you do have that sylph energy, which is very much more like informative, like information, bringing sacred messages from the divine, like quick downloads, quick visions. You might even talk really fast as you get into your channeling. There's something there about it. Like it wants to come through fast, like fast. So you do have like such a beautiful contrasting energy from your soul's lineage, where you had that Lemurian lifetime where you really lived in the unity consciousness of this earth, and you carry the codes right now, which is why I think you're here and incarnate at this time on earth, because you carry these codes. You also have the Syrian roots, right? Your star ancestors, and they really are heart-based civilization, and they're really all about improvement. Like, let's improve, you know, let's develop, let's improve, let's build upon what already exists. Let's just get started now. Let's go. Then you have the mermaid energy, which is so deep and like very deeply feeling, very deeply connected to the oceans, to the sound, to the waters, to the rhythms, the moon. And then you also have connection to the sylph, which is like more fast paced and information, all about clarity and downloads and understanding and all this stuff. So it's really contrasting though between the air and the water is what I'm seeing. Like there's some kind of really interesting contrast between the kind of intellect, the mind, and then the feelings, the emotions, and sort of that like much deeper vibrational energy. Like it feels really deep when I tune in with the ocean, like the deep depths of the ocean. Whereas like this butterfly energy feels really connected to the sylph, right? Butterflies and fairies, they're kind of like garden dwelling spirits. They like move around, you know, the flowers and the, you know, like they fly around like from one toadstool to another and bring different information and laugh and giggle and play. Yeah, so you kind of have this perfect combination of being quite playful, but also being quite serious, very serious, but also very playful. And that dolphin influence as well. Like, I feel like you are friends with dolphins. You are friends, like these beings remember, like the ocean remembers all things. Like there's such a wisdom in the ocean. I can't believe it. It's so amazing. There's such a wisdom to the ocean. And I feel like you would really work well with living by the ocean, by the way, group 3, if that's available to you in any way. And also you can just put in a prayer request, okay? You can put in a request to the divine. This is what happened to me recently. I was like, I really need the ocean spirit. I felt intuitively like I was being called there to live near the ocean, and I didn't really know how it was going to work out, how it was going to happen, but it did. And now I live like 5-minute walk from the ocean and it's amazing. So I can swim every day. So there's something here about, yeah, you really need that. And even if you're like, I don't know how it's going to happen, I don't know, trust me, you're magical, okay? Trust me, you are a magical being. You can put in your prayers and things can manifest for you, okay? There's something about this. Spirit will help realign things, and it might even happen quicker than you think. Yeah, I really feel like the ocean is calling you as well, calling you back to the waters to do work again with your healing. Like, I'm seeing you standing in the ocean, like up to where your heart chakra is, sort of like the middle of your chest. And I'm seeing you putting your hands out and like tracing symbols into the ocean and like feeling through the energy of the ocean and like bringing healing energy back to the oceans. Especially, I feel you incarnated as a human specifically to be on this side of humanity, of the veil, so that you could bring the healing from that side down, rather than being kind of more a mermaid or another kind of creature. Although I think you might have actually been also creatures of the ocean before. I'm seeing you might have even been a whale, seeing whales and dolphins for you as well. You might have incarnated as those beings as well. But yeah, I'm seeing you specifically chose to be a human so you could bring healing from this side of the veil back, to the ocean. Yeah, it feels really specifically connected to the ocean, okay? Really, really specifically connected to the ocean. Wow. Ooh, group number 3. Wow. Your reading was amazing. Oh my gosh. So that's just a little snapshot into your soul's lineage and some of the gifts you have associated with that lineage. You're an amazing soul, like you seriously are. You might want to consider checking out my Lemurian like DNA activation, ancient DNA activation, soul gifts activation, a light language that I just channeled, especially for you because you're connected to this Lemurian entity. And I feel like light language would really be good for your soul because you have this sound healing element to you. But yeah, check it out if you feel resonant, and I'm sending you so much love.